Have we ever had a
Yeah,
conversation about church
yeah.
folks on here?
Nah, we ain't done that.
Are
No, but
y'all
we can
comfortable?
anytime.
Are y'all comfortable
Absolutely.
talking about church folk?
No problem
Absolutely.
with
I
that.
am.
Cause I don't know if y'all know, I don't like church folk.
I know.
And for those who don't know what church folk are pretty much what the Bible talks about, like the Pharisee type people, right? You know, y'all folks who so into the church and living right and judging everybody for not being right the way that you are right, or they're wrong ain't your wrong. And those people don't even realize they're the reason that people like me don't even be wanting to go to church. Because it's like, damn, can I enjoy Jesus my way? Can I talk to God in my own language? Nah, I ain't gonna use my language in front of you when I talk to him because that's a respect thing. But like church folks be so quick to dismiss people for their appearance, for the way that they talk, the way that they act. And then you start wanting to talk religion with them, talk Bible with them, and they either regurgitate what the preacher said, or they can't tell you shit. Like they can't look at the bigger picture, and I can't stand them.
But a lot of them they can't tell you a lot, and they still don't live by what they're telling you to do.
Oh,
Hmm.
you want to preach now?
I don't.
Yeah. I'm about to go grab the collection plate. Let me ready my knees. You know, they
See,
not like next.
hey, and Candace,
Gotta
I
rock
love
back
that
and forth.
term, but we got to get away from that grab the collection plate shit too, because that talks about the corruption of church. I always want to take a nigga's money.
You know what's interesting is that my grabbing of the collection plate is actually a usurping of the idea that the church wants to take people's money. Because when I grabbed the plate to benefit the person who just said something that needed to be heard from the congregation.
Yeah.
So when the
I like
plate gets
that.
finished and passed around, it
Yeah,
gets back to chew for the word he just dropped. It doesn't
yeah,
go to my third.
Kenny doing the guest preacher.
I
We
like
gonna,
that.
we gonna give him a little blessing before he get up out of here. That's what she do when she grab the collection plate. And give you a little
Yeah,
blessing for
that's what
that.
my collection plate is about. Let's get a guest preacher a little gift.
But if you think about it, and it's crazy how similar that shit is to people portraying like this image on social media. It's the same shit that people have been doing in the church for years. Like I'm gonna look like this person in front of all these people, and then behind closed doors, I'm living this other life. It's just like me posting these. I can go on vacation and post I'm living this lavish lifestyle, but I get back home, I'm dead, about to get fired from a job. Like it's
And
Yeah.
the wild thing about it is they are being the people that Jesus was fighting against during his 3 years.
Child,
It's like, bruh, don't you see who you being right now?
child. He already done came in the synagogue flipping tables on y'all. You gonna do it again? He would be back again, flipping the same tables at uh Paul Chapel, Greater AME Church of God in Christ of yesterday. Flipping the same tables.
And that's
Okay.
just what like it really perplexes me. It's like, what are you consuming when you go here? Are we consuming different things? I swear, like I be hearing one thing, and then the church folks be hearing something else. Just like the people who be like, when you're going through some bad stuff, we'll pray about it. All right, I'm gonna pray about it. But at some point, I gotta change what I'm doing because what God is probably telling me my behavior is not right. But you're gonna keep doing the same thing and just pray. How about you change your damn behavior? That's the sign.
look. Hey,
That's the sign.
I got one for you, Candace.
Ow, that's the sign. I'm
Let's
never
let
gonna forget that. You what?
let's normalize not acting like our shit is all together, and it's fine to have issues, and that's what this topic like needs to be done.
Normalize transparency, normalize regular, normalize you make mistakes. And I get the people who are with us today might don't know that I'm going to go to seminary on next week, but I am And I think sometimes when people hear that, then they think, oh, let me be especially like, tiptoe around her. Like, I don't want to, this is the person who's trying to be a woman of the cloth or whatever. And I find that to be humorous. So, I let people do whatever it is that works for them.
Don't they know cloth clean people up? Well, cloth is dirty.
You've been waiting. I saw your face when that came to your brain. You've been waiting 3 good, strong seconds. And I appreciate you for injecting at the right time. But I don't know if they know. It don't seem like they do, And I think that's because people who wear cloth are not acting like they have been cleaned up. But they're also not acting like normalized, your dirt. They're somewhere in this like dream space where they're creating a persona like you was talking about, and everybody is kind of like on board with it. And my general idea of ministry is completely anti that perspective. It doesn't, and especially I think it's because I'm a millennial. Like, that just simply don't work for us. It never has, it won't. Like, at some point, we need the whole information, why you want me to do it. Have you tried it? Did it work for you? Is you lying about whether it worked for you? Do you even know what you're talking about? And at the point when we realize that you don't know what you're talking about, we talking about you or we out.
Come on now.
I will throw out another side to it, though, that just came to my mind as far as like people portraying this one lifestyle and living another. But sometimes it can be the other side of it where I don't hear this person speak. I just want to see them. So I'm placing them. It goes back to that pedestal that you was talking about. I'm putting this person on this pedestal, but I don't know nothing about them. I just know what I see.
Right.
And I could really not say nothing, and you could think highly of me, and I could be this terrible person. And then you finally find out, I never said anything to make you think that. I just moved around.
I didn't ask for that badge of honor from you. I didn't ask for it.
Exactly.
You gave it to me.
Yep.
And listen to this, y'all. The pulpit is a pedestal, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I guess it is.
I'm up here looking down on you, telling you how to live your life. And they got these new age pulpits now where it's more like a stage. Candace, whenever you open up your ministry, don't get that contemporary pulpit. You know which one I'm talking about. But and here's the thing, right? Too many.
It is a stage. It's not even like it's just a stage.
You're right, but the problem is we ain't going to Sunday school, right? We ain't going to Bible study. We going to church, and church obviously can't be Q&A, can't be back and forth, right? It's lecture.
It could be Q&A.
But then we're gonna be in there all day, and football come on at 1:00.
Okay, fair enough.
10 o'clock in California. But the point is, like, you are up here talking to me, telling me what I'm supposed to be doing, and I can't raise my hand and say, hey, pastor, that didn't make sense. Can you, like, water that down for me a little bit? Mm-hmm. And then if you ask him after church, you get that. But guess what? If you didn't understand what the hell he said, it's probably 5 to 10, depending on how big your church. It could be 1,000 more people who watching or who in there who don't know what the hell he said, but you can't even get your question answered because, oh, he's the pastor. You can't question him. Like, hey, pastor, I read it this way, and here's what it made me think. And just because you have a better understanding of the Bible in its entirety, maybe because you've gone to seminary, you've been in the Word more than the average person, it does not mean your ability to read sentences and break down what the sentences mean is better than mine.
Very true.
I'm gonna play devil advocate to that though. Like a lot of times with that same situation, the pastor is he's just a messenger, right? So how are you applying yourself outside of Sunday? What are you doing Monday through Saturday?
Who, the pastor?
No, the person that's trying to
practitioner is who he's talking about. He's talking about the member.
Yeah,
the thing is, like,
you can't put everything on him.
But that's what the construct of most churches have done to us.
I think unfortunately you're right about that, and I think it is another instance where a pedestal needs to be adjusted, because there was
Hey, at my level.
Yeah, I don't think. And then there's something else though. Like I think the pedestal needs to be adjusted in that regard, but only because I don't think this might get me in trouble. But what else is new? I don't think that pastors generally are doing a great job at pastoring.
All they doing is preaching.
I was just having a conversation with DeAndrea. Y'all know who she is, my seasoned salt sister. But she started divinity school at Duke Divinity this past week, and we were talking about
Oh no, I was thinking about the Cameron Crazies, how they be, when basketball come back, she got to do the stupid thing.
I hate them. Anyway, so we were talking about one of her class discussions, and one of her professors was saying something like the pastor or like the church leader or whatever you call it based on your particular faith is supposed to be like a responsible, collaborative leader, and someone who makes ease out of things that people have a hard time understanding about the faith. And we were just discussing how novel an idea that is, but it shouldn't be. It's just not being done well by people. So it's making it look like the whole construct is bad. But to choose point of devil's advocacy, I feel like individuals, we have full brains. And you said, Adam, that a pastor doesn't necessarily have like the capability to put sentences together better or make sure people comprehend or know how to break something down any better than you. So because we are our own people and are in charge of working out our own soul salvation, as it were, then the one lecture won't stand, just like it wouldn't if we were in undergrad or in a graduate program or even in secondary school or primary school. You get your lesson, but you have to do homework.
Well, think about this one. When you go through the pastor selection process, right, especially when it comes to the members voting, what are y'all actually voting on? Is he giving y'all a vision of where he's taking the church, or are you judging him on his ability to preach? Because you can be a great orator, you can be good at all of that stuff and really getting the word across to people. But if you don't have like plans to build to build a better worship environment, I'm not saying everybody has to grow their church. You can have what you have and always make it better, right? To create a better environment for worship, a place for more souls to get saved. Mm-hmm. Those aren't conversations that are being had. It's not like they're going up in front of the church saying, hey, here's my goal for the church and this is how I'm going to do it. Here's a team of people that I want to align myself with, because maybe you're a great preacher and giving a message, but you're not great operationally because you don't have the background in managing people. That's fine. But do you have a great deacon board? Do you have a good group of trustees? Does the staff at the church support you doing that? And I think that people forget that the church is still a business, right? People are in positions to make the church go. And just because you've been at the church for many years, you come from this family, that does not mean you are the best person for a job for creating a better worship environment. Because you've probably been there just as long as the old pastor that you want to get rid of. And he ain't the problem.
Sound like the Senate and the House of Representatives, man. I've been sitting here for so long that I got my right to keep being here because I've been doing this.
And you're doing nothing. Like you're doing absolutely nothing.
And then we're going to bump you up. We're going to give you a promotion just because of your seniority. It was like, hey, you remember when you was in charge of this department and it got worse under you? We're gonna give, instead of the youth choir, because you was terrible at the youth choir, we're going to give you the whole choir. You're the new minister of music.
Right. But what's interesting about your contortions right now It's the people who are causing that. It's the freaking congregation. So our own presence.
Because they the sheep. Jesus called them sheep for a reason.
Wait, who? No, I don't believe in sheep. And they might be, but
they need a shepherd.
The sheep do not get immunity for doing stupid stuff. The sheep do not get the opportunity to not think just because they're sheep. It's just that the person who is setting him or herself out to lead this group of sheep is held to an even higher standard of self-management, and because for the sake of leading other people, you are always totally 100% thoroughly responsible for leading yourself. Nobody is taking that away. So if you out your own mouth is saying dumb stuff like, sir, you've been the pastor for 30 years. We have grown great leaps and bounds under you, and you know good and well that's a lie. That's on you. And you just perpetuating the problem.
And too much church business is private. Like, hold on. How come I can't know what's going on in here? Well, you ain't a trustee. So I'm a taxpayer. Excuse me, a tithe payer.
Right. Speaking of which, I would like to shout out the churches who have open members meetings to talk things that are actually going on with the church. Because I think that one church, I didn't get a chance to really like root down the way I wanted to, because as soon as I joined the church, COVID happened. But Cornerstone Church in Atlanta is really like, and no surprise, run by millennials. I don't know what to tell you, but the church is very open kimono when it comes to stuff like that, and you don't have to be running. Of course, there are things that leaders just have to manage, and I think that's generally respected. But there's a lot that's discussed among the group, including conversations like, what are we gonna do with COVID? Is anyone at all comfortable with coming to church? We're basically just starting from zero. Let's just talk about the whole plan. That's new, and I think that's the way to do it. It's new for me anyway.
I want to see the budget and salaries.
Hey, I feel like in some places you can ask that question and at least get a response.
Oh yeah, I get to I will say my home church in Cartersville, Georgia, Mount Zion, they make the budget available for members. And I looked at it.
Right.
No comment. But look,
Houston. Now we just shouting out churches. Harvest Point Fellowship Church in Houston was real good about showing that whole budget. It was in every program, every one, and discussing.
That needs to be there. I didn't know what y'all doing with my money. Yeah. I'll tell you though, the wildest thing I seen in church. We about to get off of church, hit a couple more things, and take it home. Man, I was at this church in Maryland. Yeah, you gotta say Maryland when you talking about Maryland.
Dude,
and
he sound like that dude. What's his name? Like Talib Harvey.
Oh, Lou Will.
Yeah.
And they was making it rain on the preacher during service. Like, folks would just get up and just throw money at the pulpit. And I said,
what?
So you're talking like actually throwing money at the preacher, or just going to put money at the pulpit?
Putting money in the pulpit, but I just felt like,
wow, you really know your friend, don't you? Wow, you really know your friend. You had to ask him because you knew he could have been exaggerating that.
Because I felt like I was in that bitch with the terror, got a handful of stacks, better grab an umbrella.
So I've seen that. The first place I've seen that was when I was in college at the church that I went to when I was in Maryland.
It may be the same church too.
What's the name of it?
I don't remember. It was like a mega church. It was good preaching.
Yeah, for the Glendora, First Baptist Church of Glendora. Is that the name?
I don't know. It was Oxon Hillish, PG County.
We're talking about the same church, but yeah. So that's the church that I went through to.
We have too many connections that shouldn't be there from just random shit.
But that's where I seen that at though. I mean, I ain't really have an issue with it.
The Lord connecting y'all. Might be the Lord.
Get around and you getting to get worried. You feel led to go put some more money out there. That's what it is.
For me, I disconnect money and stuff from everything. It's what pisses me off a lot in the church. But if you're a good preacher and you giving me good word and a code to live by that I can rock with, even if you ain't living what you talking, but it's helping me get closer to God, I'm okay with you. You just ain't gonna get my tithes. I done it in charity.